examinations as well as SSC combined graduate level exam and also the combined the CLAT examination. So definitely AKS IAS Academy is a premier institutions and you can definitely rely on it and then make sure that you are subscribing for the AKS IAS Academy. And about me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Tumala and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security as well as the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And in regards to my session, that is today's session, will definitely help you in regards to cracking the prelims and mains examinations, because throughout my session I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases which will be very important for the prelims as well as mains examinations. So thereby I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases throughout my lecture, and by that we will identify it, or else I will make you get into the mode of identifying the factual and analytical questions which are very important for the prelims point of view. So as well as along with the conceptual analytical, we will also go ahead with factual questions which will be very useful for the prelims point of view. And I will also make you get into the practice of imbibing or including the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, because while you are going ahead with the answer writing for the mains examination, what is very important is that your answers have to be precise and concise. And once your answers are precise and concise, definitely the evaluator will be impressed that your answers are your own, and then you will definitely get into the mode of scoring more marks or higher marks in the mains examination. So thereby my session will definitely help you in regards to cracking prelims and mains both for 2020 as well as 2021. And today's topic is in regards to daily news analysis, which is today's, that is 15th of July 2020, that is Hindu newspaper. And I would be re-emphasizing and then uh, reiterate my tagline, that is Sandeep Bhushan tagline, that is emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the newspaper which will be useful for the prelims as well as mains examinations, as well as prelims as well as mains examinations. And before I get into the topic, I would say a very good morning to everyone who is in the live and also in the live chat. So very good morning to everyone. So good morning to Manohar, Ashwini, Lokesh, Ram, Batini, Renuka, Lokesh, okay, Azmat Khan, very good morning, David Paul, Achyut Linga, Govardhan, Kavani, Suresh Raman, Malvika Sajivan, everyone, very good morning to everyone. So now I'll get into the topic, that is today's newspaper, which talks about India China to hold fourth round of consultation. So we have looked at, as I was saying in the past, I mean last few classes, that the kind of engagement what India and China has is in regards to the diplomatic engagement, and also in regards to the military engagement, and also the special representative engagement. So military engagement, various, and then diplomatic engagement, and then special representative level talks. So military engagement level talks, diplomatic engagement level talks, and special representative level talks. So these are the various levels where the talks are going on between India and China to make sure that the tension between India and China along the LAC will be coming to a very standstill, or it will be resolved very happily. So that in that regard, the news is that India and China, now both the countries, India and China, are going ahead with the fourth round of talks. Fourth round of talks. This is very important. Fourth round of talks, and then that means already three rounds have been taken up, and in the three rounds of talks between India and China, the first two talks have been taken up in Moldo place, which is in China, and then we have the Chushul, which is in India, Chushul, and you have this, what do you say, third and fourth round. Third and fourth round will be taking up in the Chushul, and the first and second was rounds were taken up in the Moldova. So for information sake, this is the fourth round of levels of talks. And if you are talking about the fourth round of talks, again in the military level talks, I have said earlier also, that is major general level talks, and then the other one is commander level talks, So now the fourth level or fourth round of talks, what we are talking are in regards to the commander level talks, and why this? Because this is to make sure that there is the second phase of disengagement. So this is very important, second phase of disengagement. So what is disengagement? As I said earlier itself, that moving away the troops, that means the Indian or Chinese troops moving away from the LAC. Moving away from the LAC is the one which are the discussion or the fourth round of talks are being taken up by the corps commander level talks at Chuzul. So this is the second phase. So in the previous classes I have said the first phase of disengagement, the first phase of disengagement has completed, as said, has completed. So now the talks are going ahead, that is in regards to making sure that the second level of or second phase of disengagement will take place between India and China, and that will be taken up at the Chusul, and then Madhu has joined. Very good morning to you, Madhu. And then Rahul has also joined. Very good morning to you, Rahul. And then, as I said, the first phase of disengagement has been taken up or is been completed at the Galwan Valley, Hot Springs, and then Pyongyang So Lake. So this is important. And in Pyongyang So Lake, I have said that at the Finger 4, they have moved away. They have removed the tents and they have moved away. So this is what is important, is first phase of disengagement is over, and then the talks are being taken up for this second phase of disengagement. What is important is this first phase and second phase. First phase is completed, and for the second phase, this is the fourth commander level talks which are taking place. This is very important, because all these are very important, because it will be useful for you while you are writing your mains examinations. And then Sai Kiran, Saikam, Anjanelu has joined. Very good morning to Anjanelu. And now we will look at the focus. What is the focus on phase 2? Again, this is very important for the mains examinations as well as prelims examinations. Why I am saying is because if it is asked in the prelims, which among the following, if it is asked in the prelims, which among the followings are not the focus of the phase 2 disengagement between India and China along the LAC for the prelims. And for the mains examinations, so when you are writing about the disengagement process, please do understand these keywords. When you are writing about the disengagement process, that is because of the military level engagement talks. So when you are writing about the disengagement, so definitely you have to make sure that what is the focus on the phase 2 disengagement. So the focus is to make sure that they will have, or they will go ahead with, the focus is to work out details. So they will come up with the details. What are the details that future the troops have to move away from the LAC, or else the Indian troops moving back and then Chinese troops getting into the Chinese territory. And the second one is the withdrawal of the troops. So first they will go ahead with the details and then the withdrawals of the troops which they have deployed. And then when we are talking about the withdrawal of the troops, that we are talking about withdrawal, that is the troops, both the sides troops, especially the Chinese troops, and then the withdrawal we are talking about the tanks, because the Chinese have also, along with the soldiers, they have come into the Indian soil, Indian territory, and they have come up with the tanks also, battle tanks, and then they have come up with the artillery in the sense the equipment for the war and defense, air defense. So all these are the one wherein the details will be looked at. And the withdrawal is the cells, the troops withdrawal, the tanks, the arms, the armory, artillery, and then air defense system, everything they will move out. So definitely the focus, what is important is focus. Focus is, as I've said, details one, and then the withdrawal. And this, apart from this, the third one is very important, is status quo. So what do you mean by status quo? Status quo means whatever situation, that is now, whatever situation, or else you can say status quo means present situation. Status quo means present situation. So what is important is that India is consistently saying to China that you have to maintain the status quo of what? April month. Why? Because what China is doing is, as I said, 1962 we had a war. Fine. Again in 1974, Assam Rifle, I have said Assam Rifle, they have got into Tawang district in Arunachal Pradesh and they have killed four Assam Rifles soldiers. So 1974, again later on 2013, 2014, 2017, 2020. So these, I mean, timeline, if you look at, Chinese are incurring, or else Chinese troops are getting into the LAC along the India-China border, and they are coming slowly entering into the Indian territory, and they are grabbing the Indian land. They are grabbing the inland land. And when the discussion takes place that they have to go away, the way it has happened in 2013, 2014, 2017. So 2017, this is Doklam issue, Doklam Plateau or Doklam issue. 2000, again 13 we see it is in the Depsang Plains. So what they do is, each and every time when the Chinese are getting into Indian territory, when they are going away, they say, okay, we are going away. So whichever the date, the time when they are there here, for example, this place, so they say that, okay, we will move away till this place. But actually, this is the place wherein they have to move. For example, I'm just saying example. So what is happening is, this part of the land is actually occupied. So they say, okay, fine, we will move here, and this is the status quo. Status quo. They maintain the status quo. That is present situation. So status quo in regards to what? LAC. Please do understand. So every time they are coming into India, other incursion, or else the Chinese troops are getting into Indian territory, then when we have the discussion or the talks, then they're going back. The Chinese troops are moving away. But when the Chinese troops are moving away, they are saying that, okay, we will move away back, and they are maintaining that present situation as the LAC. So each and every time what is happening is, they are getting into the Indian territory, and that is why this issue has taken place from May 5th. So I have said, right from January or February, they started, what do you say, having the total mobilization order. I have said in regards to the army, that is PLA, the People's Liberation Army of China. So what India says is status quo. That is what present situation, what we are talking is, we will maintain what the present situation it was in the April month. So this is one of it. So the focus is on the details, focus is on the withdrawal of the troops, withdrawal of the tanks, armory, air defense, and the status quo to be maintained of the April month. So this is very important. And from India side, the Lieutenant General Harinder Singh is talking, and then from the China side, it is Major General Liu Lin. So this is just for information. So focus is important. The way focus for the second phase of disengagement. And status quo, if you look at, see, I am showing you this, and before I get into Sheikh Wasim has joined, Harika Yadav has joined. Very good morning to both of you. And then why I have taken this image is because of the status quo. Status quo means what? As I said, status quo means present situation. As per present situation. So what China does is, as per present situation. So look at these lines. So if you look at, this is the one which we actually go ahead with, that is in regards to the Johnson line. This is Johnson line. Johnson line in the year 1959. This what we are actually looking at. And then if you look at the blue line is 1962 war. Fine. So after that, now they have come up till this point. See, look at it, this area. So what is that is, now they talk about status quo, not about 1962. I mean, not before war, but after war. See, this is the land which is been occupied. So what is the status quo? What they are maintaining is today this line, this line, this line. So what is happening is each and every time they are getting into the Indian territory and then saying as per that day or that year the discussions or the talks, they are maintaining the status quo. That is why I have taken this image. These are all the lines or the line of actual control right from 18, or if you look at 1873 till you have recent now 1962 till here it is. But status quo they wanted to maintain by 2020. So this is important. And as I said, the fourth level of talk is happening at Chuzul. So this place is Chuzul. Fine. This place is Chuzul. And I said, so this is Pyongyang Lake. This is Pyongyang Lake. And this is Galwan River. And this blue one is the Shok River. Blue one is the Shok River. Here also it flows this way. Shok River. Fine. And this is Daulat Beg Oldie. Why I have said this? Because from Darbuk you have Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldie Road, which is of 255 kilometers, which is passing from very close to the LAC. So it is almost from here, it passes very close to the LAC. It passes very close to LAC and then here. Fine. So this is very important. So Chuzul is a place wherein now the fourth level talks are taking place. Okay, Rahul has said, sir, why India is trying for status quo instead of reviving our territory? Yes. So definitely what is important is we have to revive the territory. So when we wanted to revive the territory, what is important is the war. That is the war in 1962 between India and China. So they have come almost till this area. So at least when we have lost the war, India has lost the war in 1962, and after that is what I am saying, after 1962 to 2020, whatever it is, we need to make sure that we need to go ahead with the status quo, or else the entire Aksai chain region. So then when we wanted to, okay, as Rahul is saying that why sir, why India is trying for status quo and instead of reviving our territory. So instead of reviving our territory as per the Johnson line, as per the Johnson line, that is this one, the original what India claims, this one, this is the Johnson line. So if you wanted to claim this entire territory, that is Aksai chain, so definitely it will be a war. It will be a war. So if you wanted to claim it, then it will be a war. At least if you wanted to resolve the issue, at least from 1962 to 2020, they are not getting further into Indian territory. So we have to maintain the status quo. I think Rahul, now you are getting the point. The difference between status quo and then taking over the entire territory, that is the Aksai chain, wherein China says it is their territorial integrity or integral part of China or the Tibet itself, autonomous region of Tibet. Fine. Now I'll get into the next. I think Rahul, you have got the point. And the next topic is in regards to center limits duration of online school sessions. So definitely the center has come into the issue of online school sessions. So definitely which is the ministry which is actually looking into it? It is the Ministry of Human Resource Development or HRD. So what you need to do is, which ministry is actually into this? So which ministry takes care about the education, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development. Ministry of Human Resource Development. And Ministry of Human Resource Development has come up with the guidelines. Please do understand, this is very important for prelims point of view. HRD, yeah, HRD is Human Resource Development. So Human Resource Development has come up with the guidelines for what? Online sessions, online classes or online sessions. Online sessions for what? Schools. Please do understand. So Ministry of HRD has come up with the guidelines for what? For the online sessions for the schools. And they have come up with the guidelines. What is the guidelines called as? Pragyata guidelines. So this is very, very important. Yes. Ramesh Pokhriyal is the Minister for HRD. Ramesh Pokhriyal. The minister is Ramesh Pokhriyal. Ramesh Pokhriyal is the Ministry for HRD, and then they have come up with the guidelines called as Pragyata guidelines. This is very important for prelims point of view. So what is Pragyata? It is an acronym. Acronym for what? P for plan, R for review, A for arrange, G for guide, Y for yak or talk. You call it as talk or in the yak, and then A for assign, T for track, A for appreciate. So this is an acronym. Please do consider for prelims point of view. Which among the following is incorrect as per the acronym given by the Ministry of HRD for the guidelines of Pragyata? Pragyata means plan, review, arrange, guide, talk, assign, track, and then appreciate. So what is these guidelines? These are 8 steps. Please do understand. These are 8 steps. 8 steps of the Ministry of HRD. And what is the guidelines given by the Ministry of HRD? So they have said that the kindergarten school. So this Pragyata guidelines. So what is the guidelines? They have been given to the kindergarten or nursery. Kindergarten or nursery, or now you all have this different names, preschool. So what they have said is, in regards to kindergarten, nursery or preschools, that there will not be any kind of online classes, but there would be 30 minutes of discussion, maximum 30 minutes of discussion or interaction between whom? Teachers and parents. Only teachers and parents for kindergarten, nursery and preschool. These are the Pragyata guidelines. Fine. First is for kindergarten, nursery or preschool, and the other one is from the classes of 1 to 8. So for the classes of 1 to 8, what is the guideline for the 1 to 8? That it is only 1.5 hours or 90 minutes. 90 minutes per day. Only the classes will be only for 90 minutes per day for classes 1 to 8. And what is the guideline, Pragyata guideline for classes 9 to 12? 9 to 12 is that there would be 3 hours. 3 hours per day. Only online class sessions for classes 9 to 12 will be 3 hours per day. So these are the guidelines which are very clearly mentioned by the Ministry of HRD. So please do understand the 8 steps, which are plan, review, arrange, guide, talk, assign, track and appreciate. For what? For digital education. So these Pragyata guidelines are for what? For digital education. This is very important. The keyword. Digital education is the keyword. Pragyata guidelines are the keywords. Please do understand. And these guidelines, the Pragyata guidelines, are prepared by whom? By the NCERT. By the NCERT. And this is again very important. Prepared is very important keyword, because all these are very important. The analysis is what? How the questions could be framed in the prelims. In the prelims, they will be there could be a question asked by saying in the prelims, the Pragyata guidelines are being prepared by which among the following? The Pragyata guidelines for digital economy. The Pragyata guidelines for digital economy is prepared by which among the following? NCERT, HRD Minister or State Education Ministry, fine, or none of the above. So it is prepared by National Council of Education Research and Training, that is NCERT, which is advisory in nature. So these guidelines are what? Guidelines are advisory. That means they give just the advisory in nature. And then it is the state governments. Please do understand here a point. The state governments can be asked to build and formulate. So The guidelines, Pragyata guidelines are being given, are being prepared by NCERT, and then they have been put forth by the Ministry of HRD. But the state government can build their own and then formulate their own rules. Please do understand. They can build and they can formulate their own rules based on the local needs. Based on the local needs. So what is very important is this statement from here, that the guidelines are advisory in nature. This is important. Advisory. That means they are just advising, but they are not binding. Please do understand. They are only advisory, but not binding. Binding in the sense it is not compulsory. It is only advisory in nature, but it is not binding on the state governments. On the state government, please to understand this very, very clear. It is not binding on the state government, but the state governments can build or formulate their own rules based on the local needs. And then what the HRD says, that there are 25 crore students which are being out of the school. This is very important. What is a facts or the statistics? Please do write it in your book, because this is by the HRD which is given by. So 25 crore students are out of the schools since mid-March, that is since national lockdown. And this guidelines survey and these guidelines, that is the Pragyata guidelines, are advising the schools. This is another point. Are advising the schools to what? To survey the students before taking the decision on which type of teaching they will go ahead in regards to the online classes. Why we are talking about the type of or mode of teaching? Why we are talking about mode of teaching? Because there would be students who are from the rural India or urban India. Please do understand. They could be from urban India or rural India. And the students might be having the phones, that is with the 4G phones. That is the 4G phones, smartphones, or else few of them will be having the direct to home digital television. Fine. Few of them will not be having the DTH, but they would just having the television. Fine. Few of them will have the radio frequency, radio. Fine. So these are the survey which they have to do, that how many students are in the urban India, how many students are in the rural India, how many of them are having the smartphones or the normal phones with the 4G SIM, and what is the internet bandwidth they are having. Fine. And what is that if they are having, I mean, when many of them do not have the 4G smartphones or smartphones with 4G, so they have the DTS, that is in regards to the, you can then they can think about having or airing the television shows or television classes, online classes, or the with the radio itself. Who are not having great televisions but who have only radio, they can go ahead with this. So these are the surveys which has to be done, and what is the ultimate, what the government is saying is, definitely there is a severe health issues when the students are getting into the longer time for the, when they are exposed to digital technologies. This is a keyword. When the students are exposed to the digital technologies or gadgets for longer period of time, they will be impacted by the health issues. So these are all here. I have given this Pragyata, which is from the Ministry of HRD, from the Government of India. So plan, review, arrange, guide, talk, assign, fine, and then track, and then appreciate. So 8 steps. This is very important. And now we'll get into the next news, that is move to map COVID-19 after effects. So definitely now we know that many of them, we know that recovery. So we know that India has been almost touched 9 lakhs, if I'm not wrong, close to 9 lakhs it is going, total number of cases in India. Fine. And if you look at the recovery rate, this is also very important. If you look at the recovery rate is now 63.2%. This is very important. The one who has been infected by the SARS-CoV-2 is almost closely touching the 9 lakhs across India. But the recovery rate, the one that is the patients who are recovering even though they have been infected, is 63.02%, what you say currently now. But if you look at May 31st, it was just 47.6 percentage. And then if you're looking at the cases, most of the cases are from the Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, which is accounting for the entire 50 percentage of our infected cases, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. So this is what is very important before we look at what is actually happening. So what is now the cases is, number of cases is 9 lakhs, and then the recovery rate is 63.02. Recovery rate in the sense the one who have been infected and then later on again they are recovered, they are out of the danger. But what is important here is there is a new concept or new system wherein the health ministry is getting into the point. Now again health ministry has come up with the guidelines. Health ministry has come up with the guidelines. Why guidelines, or what kind of guidelines? So these guidelines are these guidelines to study what? To study the data. What data? That the data from the recovered patients. The data of the recovered patients. Please do understand this, very important for the conceptual understanding about the COVID-19 in regards to the after effects. COVID-19 after effects on the patients, not on the system or the economy, on the patients, recovered patients. So the health ministry has given the guidelines to study the data of the COVID-19 patients, and the Director General of Health Services, the Director General of Health Services is the one which is collecting the data. So the data which is being collected by the Director General of Health Services, that data the health ministry is giving the guidelines to study the data of the recovered patients, So definitely DGHS, that is the Director General of Health Services, is collecting the data from Safdarjung Hospital, government hospitals, Ram Manohar Lohia and All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Why? What is the need? What is the need for collecting the data of the recovered patients is the question mark. And that is what the analysis what we will do. Yes. Now we will look at this. Why guidelines? Why the health ministry? Why the health ministry is giving the guidelines to study the data of the recovered patients? Because the recovered patients, what the many physicians, leading physicians are saying, that is the recovered patients, the one who have recovered from the COVID-19, they show what do you say, medical complications. That means it is very clear that the one who is recovered from the SARS-CoV-2 is not recovered completely. Please do understand, they are not recovering completely. They still have the medical complications. That means some kind of issues still they are facing. And they complain lethargic in the sense dull, that they feel very dull, lethargic. And they also complain that they are totally, what you say, drained out in the sense that they are not having any energy, no energy at all. And they also complain that they are mentally depressed in the sense they are having some kind of, what you said, stress mentally. And they also complain about inability to concentrate, that they cannot concentrate, or their concentration levels have come down or decreased. Please do understand this. So the recovered patients are complaining about the medical complications. They are complaining that they are very dull after being recovered also. They complain that they don't feel any kind of energy. They feel very weak. Drained out is weak. They feel they are mentally depressed. That they are, what do you say, mentally depressed. They are not, what do you say, mentally strong. They are depressed. And the other one is their concentration levels have decreased. So these are the, what do you say, complaints which the leading physicians across the country and globally also they have identified. And not only this, they also identified that they also have this lung functions, or they have this, what do you say, pneumonia is increasing, or more cases of pneumonia or lung functioning. Because of this pneumonia and lung function, lung issues, what is they are looking at is, or they are identified is, we can take this as the sixth one, that is fibrosis. So what is fibrosis? Fibrosis is a lung disease that occurs when lung tissue becomes damaged or scarred. So definitely the one who are been affected, post they are recovered, still they are having, they are showing the signs of fibrosis, fibrosis. What is fibrosis? It is a lung disease. It is a lung disease. What happens in the lung disease during the fibrosis? Then the lung tissue is damaged. Lung tissue is damaged. So there is a damage in the lung tissue. Because of that, the lung damage is taking place, and because of that, fibrosis is, what do you say, developing. So what is important is that in the recovered patients, that we have seen, that is the leading physicians across the country have identified medical complications, lethargic, drained out or weak, mentally depressed, concentration levels are decreased, and the increase in fibrosis, that is lung diseases. So this is very important, and this why guidelines, this is very important for mains point of view. And then prelims point of view, if he says which among the following are not part of it in regards to the recovered patients of the SARS-CoV-2, but especially focusing on the mains point of view, please do understand. And then not only that, okay, I'll write it here itself. And the seventh one is thrombosis, that they are identifying a kind of, what do you say, new disease called as thrombosis. So what is thrombosis? It is a damage to the lung tissue. Again, lung tissue, what is that? Ultimately what happens is the clotting of the blood takes place. Thrombosis is what? Clotting. What do you mean by clotting? Clotting of blood. What do you mean by clotting? Clotting in the sense, like you have, the blood is stopped. Stopping of the blood, that it becomes very thick. The blood becomes thick and it is not flowing through the vessel. That is the path wherein the blood actually flows. So that creates this thrombosis in the small vessel that ultimately damages the lung tissue, not only lung tissue, and also it is affecting the heart. That is why many of the patients who are under, what you say, treatment, or after the treatment also, there is a possibility that heart attack is happening. So thrombosis, this again lung one, and the eighth one is heart attack. So these are all very, very important. So this is the one what the data, what the health ministry is wanting, are given the guidelines to work on the data, study the data post. Why? Because COVID-19 after effects, that is for the recovered patients. From the recovered patients, and this is very, very important. Stop blood circulation. Yes, yeah, definitely. When the, what you say, clotting of blood take place, that means in the vessel, in the pipe or vessel you say, so here it becomes thick, the blood clots. When the blood is clots, so what happens, this pipe, the passage of the blood becomes very thin, and that heart failure, cardiac arrest, or you can say it as cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is nothing but heart attack. So these are the cause effect. So this collection of data is not only for India but globally, to understand the new and evolving virus. So it is all very important that we are making sure that we are getting into the mode of identifying that we understand this new and evolving. These are the two very, very important keywords. this new and evolving virus, that is SARS-CoV-2. So SARS-CoV-2 is virus, COVID-19 is disease. Please do understand there is a difference. My friends, students, please do understand. SARS-CoV-2 is the virus, type of virus. COVID-19 is the disease. Fine. Okay, Ashwin Kumar solidifying. Yes, it becomes thick. Thick. Ashwin, very good. Very well said. Sumat Khan, can we expect real vaccine soon, sir? Yes, definitely ICMR. See, ICMR is going ahead with that. Indian Council for Medical Research is also going ahead with that. And then they said August 15th of this, they would go ahead with that. So we will wait and see. Not only ICMR, we have seen in Russia also. Suchnev University, one university has come up with completing the phase 1 and phase 2 trials. Phase 1 and phase 2 trials in Russia. This is latest news, just couple of days back. And ICMR says that by August 15, 2020, yes, Russia has come up with what you say, completing the trials successfully, phase 1 and phase 2. So probably we can have that. So what is very important is the virus is new and it is evolving. Evolving in the sense it is changing. And the virus is SARS-CoV-2, the disease is COVID-19 disease. So these are very, very important. This is the way you need to look at the newspaper. This is the way. No, not Oxford. Yeah, Oxford is also, yes. Madhu, Oxford is also going ahead with that in regards to US. Russia is Suchnev. S-U-C-H-E-N-E-V. Suchnev. S-U-C-H-E-N-E-V. Fine. Okay. Now we'll get into the other news, that is European Union and India to meet on resuming free trade agreement negotiations. So definitely there is a negotiation which will be taken up between European Union and India in the virtual meeting, that is in regards to the free trade agreement. Free trade. So this is in regards to what? Trade and investment. So what is that? You need to understand the keywords is the trade and investments. Trade means what? That is import and export or buying and selling of goods. Trade is what? Buying and selling of goods or products. Buying or selling of goods or products is trade. Investment is you are investing in either Europe or European Union or European countries investing in India. So the keywords, what is important here that you need to focus while we are discussing this news is that the trade and investment. So there is the European Union and India, not Europe. European Union and India are resuming in the sense, resuming means it is again getting back. It wanted to again get back to the negotiations. What negotiations? Free trade agreement. So the keywords are the trade and investment. So trade and investment between European Union and India. That is what it is important. Trade and investments. And then the trade and investments from India side, it is Narendra Modi, and then External Affairs Minister Jaishankar will go ahead with the virtual meeting. And from European Union Council, so the President of European Union, that is Charles Michel, and the President of European Commission, that is Ursula von der Leyen. So what is important here is, please do understand, India, keywords, European Union, these are the keywords which you need to focus. And then Lokesh Chandra again says good morning. Okay, very good morning to you, Lokesh. And then the other one is European Council and then European Commission. So look at it. If you focus, you will get this 1, 2, 3, 4. So one is India, European Union. So India and European Union are going ahead with the talks, virtual meeting. But we also should focus on the European Council. You as a civil servant aspirant have to focus on European Council and European Commission. So this is how you need to have the keywords. So this European Council is the keyword, European Commission is the keyword, European Union is the keyword. Fine. So these keywords are the one which I always say that you need to focus and identify them while you are reading the newspaper. So definitely the European Union, European Council, European Commission. So the President of European Council is Charles Michel. President of European Commission is Ursula von der Leyen. Fine. And from India side, it is Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, and then External Affairs Minister, Mr. S. Jaishankar. We'll go ahead with the virtual meeting, and they will be discussing in regards to the FTA negotiation, that is free trade agreement, that will be on the trade and investment. So what they will be discussing is on the medical development. Please do understand, as Azmat Khan was saying that he has asked, can we expect real vaccine in soon? Yes, that is what the India and European Union are definitely having this, what do you say, talks. So the talks will be focusing on medical development. Azmat, you have asked very good question. Azmat, you have asked very good question. And this is what the discussion between India and the European Union. India and European Union, even though they are talking in regards to the trade and investment, they will have discussions particularly on the medical development. On what? Medical development on vaccine and treatment. So very well asked question, Azmat. Very good. I appreciate you, Azmat. And then the medical development will be discussed between India and European Union, that is vaccine and treatment. And then the other one is withdrawal of US. So they will be discussing about the US also. Why? Because the US has withdrawn from what? The multilateral organization. Which is the multilateral organization? Multilateral organization. So which is the multilateral organization which the with the US has moved out of it, or it has pulled out of it, or it has withdrawn from the multilateral organization. It is WHO. So not only that, they will also discuss about the assertive in the sense the kind of aggressive method or aggressive stand taken up by China. So definitely the discussion will be particular in regards to the medical development, in regards to the withdrawal of US and the aggression of China. These three. Fine. So please do understand the way we need to focus on. So the talks will be, and these talks are happening after 7 years. After 7 years. So the last one was 2013, 2020, and then 2007 also I will tell you. So you need to focus, the timeline is the 2007 timeline, 2013, 2020. So 2013 we had this trade and investment or high level of trade and investment, that is in regards to the free trade agreement. The last time when which the talks have taken place between India and European Union was 2013, and now 2020, and something again we will discuss what has happened between India and European Union in 2007. So what is important is 2007, the years between India and European Union is 2007, 2013, and then now 2020. These years, please do take it in mind for prelims point of view. So what are the agreements? So what agreements will be taken up between India and European Union? So they will be talking about the cooperation between both the India and European Union. They would be discussing upon the research sharing of civil nuclear cooperation. And then they would be discussing, or they will be launching the maritime security dialogue. So this is very important between India and European Union. That is in regards to maritime in the sense water. That is in regards to the ocean security. So India and European Union, when we are talking about, or Europe when we are talking about, it is the Indo or Indian Ocean, or India with Pacific, or India and Pacific Ocean, and then Mediterranean Sea. So this again, see, look at it, how we are again focusing from geography map based. This is how you need to keep on focusing. And Bharat Kalyan has joined. Very good morning, Bharat Kalyan. And I would just ask you in a sense of humor, why are you late? I'm not what you said like like a teacher, but in a just sense of humor, I'm saying you are late today. And then again, see, when we are talking about maritime security, we need to focus in regards to the geography map base. So maritime security in regards to India, European Union, in regards to Indian Ocean, maritime security, Pacific Ocean or Indo-Pacific Ocean. Indo-Pacific Ocean and Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea. Fine. And then negotiation between Europol and CBI. That is in regards to the government of India, that is investigation, that is in regards to the any criminals wherein Indians or Indian are staying in or they are residing in Europe or European countries itself. So this is in regards to the extradition treaty. Extradition. So you have a treaty between India and European Union. So that is called as extradition. That means you extradite the culprit or the criminal, Indian criminal who is being taking shelter in Europe or European countries. So negotiations between Europol and CBI, between India and European Union. And then tackling COVID-19 and impact on economy. That is global economy. And then the last and the foremost is which is very high on agenda is global order. Why we are talking about global order? So because of the COVID-19 or because of the what you say entire the global supply chain system has been badly hit. Global supply chain or imports and exports across the countries have been badly hit, and because of this a new global order has come into existence. It will come into existence. So these are the several agreements which will be discussed, and this when I'm saying again you need to focus it for mains point of view and then for prelims point of view. Prelims, why I'm saying it is because when I've discussed about this maritime security geography map based, fine, and then again this Europol and CBI extradition treaty, so current affairs between India and European Union, fine, and then in regards to civil nuclear cooperation, so it would be from France, between India and France, civil nuclear cooperation, India and France. So that is again current affairs between India and France, fine, and then roadmap for cooperation. So this is very important. I think you all have understood it very clearly, and this is how you need to analyze the newspaper. And then Bharat Kalyan says, actually I was revising NCERT, sir. So okay, no fine. No, absolutely fine. When you are going ahead with your preparation, I would never disturb you. And do not get disturbed also. From tomorrow I'll be on time. Absolutely alright. And the other one is, this is very important again for prelims point of view. So look at it. If you read newspaper, you will not understand that there is so much of information for prelims in regards to the UPSC and State Public Service Commissions. For UPSC and State Public Service Commissions. But what is important is, that is why the topic or the heading is daily news analysis. This is important. Analysis. And what we are analyzing is now again for prelims point of view, BTIA. What is BTIA? It is bilateral trade and investment agreement. It is bilateral trade and investment agreement between India and the European Union. So what is that you need to understand for prelims point of view? BTIA. What is BTIA? It is generally known as free trade agreement. So not saying free trade agreement, you should always use the term called as BTIA or bilateral trade and investment agreement. Generally you call between India and European Union free trade agreement, but for prelims or from UPSC point of view, focus on the keyword, this keyword. What is the keyword? Bilateral trade and investment agreement. And this agreement has been initiated in the year 2007. This is very important. BTIA, Bilateral Trade and Investment Agreement between India and European Union, was actually initiated in the year 2007. This is an extra information I am giving this from here to here. It is not in the newspaper. This is additional information I am giving. And since then, both India and European Union are getting into the mode of negotiations, but they have failed to resolve any kind of trade and investment agreements between India and European Union, and it has led to deadlock. Deadlock in the sense there is no further, what do you say, step which has been taken up by India and European Union in regards to the trade and investment, but it has started in the year 2007. 2007. And if we look at the trade, so trade of India in Europe, trade of India in Europe. Just a minute. Just a minute. So we will look at trade of India. What is the percentage? So the percentage is 3%. So India formed only 3% of the US global trade. So India in European Union trade is only 3%, and Europe in India, the trade is 11%. Please look at it. Please look at it. This is very, very important. This is how you need to focus for prelims point of view, and this is the way that questions are asked in the prelims by the UPSC or state public service commissions in regards to the economy, point of view. So the trade of India, which is formed under 3% of EU's global trade, we are having only 3% EU's global trade, and UE is India's largest trading partner. So if you look at the trade between India and European Union, European Union is India's largest trading partner. It is India's largest trading partner. But what we are having only 3%. What Europe has trade with India is 11%. Global trade. We are talking about this. Please do understand this global trade. When we are talking about it is global trade. Global trade. Global trade. Fine. And then you have something called as, we spoke about BTIA, that is bilateral trade and investment agreement, and you have another one also that is called as BIT. What is B? It is BIT. What is BIT? It is bilateral investment treaty. Please do understand, don't get confused. You have two, one is agreement. Please do understand, one is agreement, one is treaty. One is agreement, one is treaty. So what is the agreement? That is the agreement between the countries, that is between India and European Union, that is bilateral investment and trade agreement. The another one is you have a treaty. That treaty is called as bilateral investment treaty. And this, what do you say, European Union is definitely having some kind of issues or reservations in regards to the bilateral investment treaty between India and European Union. Why? Because of dispute mechanism. So what is a dispute? In regards to the trade, especially disputes in Indian courts. So whenever there is any kind of dispute between the Indian company and the European company, please do understand, when there is a dispute between Indian company and the European company, then the dispute will be resolved by the dispute settlement resolution mechanism, but they are worried about the decision which has been given in the Indian courts. So what is very important here is that the European Union has concerns in regards to the dispute mechanism in regards to the bilateral investment treaty. So what is that you need to focus is that you have two, that is bilateral trade and investment agreement, and then bilateral investment treaty, both. Fine. And then Mastanaya, Chemukula Mastanaya, very good morning to you. I think this is first time you are joining Mastanaya. Very good morning to you. And then says nice explanation, sir. Can you explain European Council and Commission? So definitely European Council and Commission. I'll take up one day. I will take up the, what do you say, entire explanation. What is, I will take up, yeah, Mastanaya, I will take up one day. I will take up what is European Union, what is European, what do you say, Council, what is European Commission. I will definitely, because of the time constraint, I am not able to, but I will definitely take one day. Very soon, I will take about what about European Union, Indian European Council, and European Commission. Definitely, I will explain in detail. And you have another news which talks about ICMR is cautioning. So there is a caution which has been put forth by the ICMR. ICMR means what? Indian Council for Medical Research. Indian Council for Medical Research. So it is giving a caution on two drugs. On the two drugs. What are the drugs? Itolizumab and then tocilizumab. So these are the two drugs. Itolizumab and then tocilizumab. So what the Director General has said that there is no evidence that the itolizumab and then just a minute, itolizumab and then tocilizumab. These two drugs, these are drugs. These two drugs, the Director General of ICMR made it very clear that there is no evidence to reduce the death of the COVID-19 patients. That there is no evidence that usage of these drugs on the COVID-19 patients, that they are not showing any kind of reduction in regards to the deaths. There is no reduce of deaths in the COVID-19. And these two drugs are the lab cloned antibodies. Please do understand, this is very, very important. Or else these two drugs are what? The lab cloned. Cloned in the sense they have, what do you say, developed these antibodies. So what are antibodies? Antibodies are the one which fight against antigens. What are antigens? Which are, what do you say, foreign body. Antigen is foreign body. What do you mean by foreign body? Foreign body means it could be virus, it could be bacteria, it could be fungi, or any kind of, what do you say, parasites which gets into the body. So antigens are the foreign bodies which gets into the body, and then it, what do you say, it creates, or it gets into the mode of creating diseases. So these antibodies will fight against the antigens, What are the drugs? That is itolizumab and then tocilizumab, and these are very important. Please do understand, for prelims point of view, they are lab cloned antibodies. This is very important keyword. They are lab cloned antibodies, and they are not, what do you say, this, and they work. Why they have come up with these drugs? Why the ICMR has come up with these drugs? And I mean, why the Health Ministry or the ICMR has come up with that? Because they work on reducing the or decreasing the chemicals which are what do you say, produced, called as cytokines. So this is very important. Cytokines. So what are cytokines? Cytokines are antibodies. So whenever there is, what do you say, a foreign body or antigen which is entering into the human body, what it does is that our human body, it will release the cytokines, that is from our immune system. Our immune system, that is individual's body's immune system, will release the cytokines. Why? To fight or to counter what? Antigen. Please do understand this concept. Please do understand, this is very important. Conceptual point of view, it is very important. And these cytokines, is the keyword. Please do understand keyword. I'll tell you another keyword which is very important for the prelims for both UPSC and then state public service commissions. So whenever there is a foreign body entering into the human body, that is the antigens entering into the body, what happens is Indian immune system or else our body, I mean in regards to the individual immune system will release the antibodies. Those antibodies are called as cytokines. Why are these antibodies released? These antibodies are released to fight against or to counter the antigens. So here in this case, the antigens are what? SARS-CoV-2 virus. SARS-CoV-2 virus. Here in this case, what we are talking about is SARS-CoV-2 virus. So the itolizumab and tocilizumab, these are the antibodies. These two are the antibodies, and these two antibodies will fight against the antigen, that is SARS-CoV-2. Fine. But what is happening is these antibodies which are been releasing, fine. So this actually what they are doing is to reduce. So what is important is, please understand now this point, these cytokines are released by the body, that is the immune system, to counter the virus, fine. But what is happening is these cytokines are released in very high number, and when they are in very high number, that means what will happen is this will create, when it is the cytokines are released, or what you say, antibodies are released too much, so that will lead to very important keyword, cytokine or cytokines storm in the sense too much of antibodies are released from the immune system, and then when that is released, then that is again problem to the human body itself. And what these two will do is, these two will definitely work or reduce the rush of chemicals. So these two drugs will reduce the release of more of chemical, that is the cytokines. That is, it will reduce the cytokine or cytokine storm. This is very important. That is why they have come up with the drugs. But these drugs are not stopping. They are not stopping, or they are not reducing the release of chemicals, that is the cytokines. Please do understand. And this is called as, when these cytokines are released, the antibodies are released too much, then it is called as cytokine or cytokine storm, and that is manifested usually as, it is called as ARDS. This cytokine or cytokine storm is called as ARDS. This is very again important for prelims point of view. Cytokine storm is usually called as acute respiratory distress syndrome. So more of antibodies is actually causing that to the, or is causing damage to the body, How? Inflammation take place. Inflammation means what? Inflammation means it is, what you say, swelling. Inflammation means swelling, and this swelling, it causes to lung damage, damaging the lungs. So look at it, antibodies are released to protect the human body or to attack the antigens, but because of more of release of antibodies, what is happening is it is causing a disease, or it is damaging the lung, and that is called as acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS, and that is responsible for killing almost 3 to 5% of the COVID-19 patients. This is very important. This is very very important. And what the government has done is, what the ICMR has done is, that is tocilizumab and then itolizumab. They both these drugs have been used to reduce the produce of cytokine, but it is not reducing, it is not decreasing, but in turn what is happening is 3 to 5% of the people are being killed because of the cytokine storm or acute respiratory distress syndrome. And then tocilizumab is used for rheumatoid arthritis, that is for the bones, and then itolizumab is used for psoriasis. Psoriasis is skin problem or skin issues. So this is very important, and this is the virus, and this all blue dotted one are the antibodies. But what is happening is they are released more in numbers, too much release is taking place, and that is actually killing the patient. That is killing. And here in this case, the cytokine storm are antibodies, but these antibodies are what? Generally antibodies protect the patient, but here in this case the cytokine storm is killing the patient, so that is very very important. So we have taken up these issues, so which are very very important for the prelims point of view. So phase 2 disengagement, for prelims point of view I focused in regards to again current affairs, fine, and then online session. So Pragyati guidelines, these are very important for prelims point of view. Again I've looked at kindergarten, nursery, class 1 to 8, 9 to 12, and then again in regards to COVID-19 after effects, what we have looked at, that is what is that recovered patients are still having that medical complications, lethargic, drained out, medically depressed, concentration levels are reduced, fibrosis, thrombosis, heart attack, all this we have looked at from, what do you say, this is in regards to the science and technology, science or biological science, you can take it in. For prelims point of view we have focused this, and this is again from economy point of view, or what do you say, international relations between India and European Union. All these are very important, as I have discussed, bilateral trade and investment agreement and bilateral investment treaty. And again this is again in regards to the SNT, which the ICMR has said it. Right? So these are all very very useful for you, and I hope this was an very informative and knowledgeable session for you in regards to the prelims point of view and then mains point of view also. So I would thank you everyone, and I would say all the best for you all, and I wish you all a success. But success will definitely, what do you say, arrive to you only when you put in your individual efforts. And before you sign off, please do like the video, share the video, subscribe the video, that is AKS IAS Academy, and you can also visit AKS IAS Academy, AKSIAS.com, and you can also have the link, that is in regards to have access to the Telegram link, that is t.me/aks.ias, and my personal Telegram link is t.me. Please do. Lokesh was saying time and again. Okay. Lokesh says that same quotation. So okay, fine. I'll tell you what is the reason why I say it. t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT. So this is very important, and do download the AKS IAS Academy mobile app. And then I would once again say that please do go ahead with fixing or maintain your schedule, and then maintain your consistency, and then do take care of your physical health and mental health, fine, and then definitely success will prevail, and then see you tomorrow again at 7:30 a.m. And then I would respond to what Lokesh said, that daily same quotation, please change the quotation. and I'm saying it very clearly that I will not change the quotation. I am, what do you say, purposely using the same quotation. Why? Because these quotations, when I'm repeatedly using the same quotation, what will happen is, okay, fine. What will happen is, these quotations will be stored in your subconscious. Will be stored in your subconscious mind. So what I'm doing is, I wanted to store that thank you and then all the best, success, individual efforts, stick to your schedule, consistency, maintain your physical health and mental health. Why? Because when I'm saying it every day, that will store in your subconscious mind. I want that to be stored in your subconscious mind. That is to all the civil servant aspirants. Why I'm saying is, subconscious mind is very powerful, and all the civil servant aspirants, I am saying you today something extra, that when you are able to put, or able to, what do you say, whatever you study, if you are able to make sure that you are storing in your subconscious mind, then take it for granted. You can retrieve it. You can retrieve it. That means you can again get back it anytime whenever you want. That is what is the greatness or the power of subconscious mind. You have conscious mind, you have subconscious mind, you have unconscious mind. We will not talk about unconscious mind, but we will talk about conscious mind and then subconscious mind. Fine. Subconscious is very powerful, and I want everyone to store whatever they are reading in their subconscious mind. And that is what I do always, saying that the same words I repeat. Why I repeat the same word is that it has to be stored in your subconscious mind. And do follow while you are preparing also. It will really work out. Fine. And then see you tomorrow 7:30 a.m. And I would say a very big thank to everyone. Yes. And also in regards to Lokesh, yes, I will try to change the quotations if required. Like for example, here you say that success is dependent on effort. Yes, I would try definitely also. Fine. See you tomorrow 7:30 a.m. Thank you. Thank you very much.